Good evening, I'm Kyle Clark.
I'm Jennifer Meckles. A crash on Highway 285 this week killed one man and closed the road for hours overnight. Now Colorado State Patrol has arrested the truck driver accused of causing that crash.
9 News reporter Janelle Finch has the latest from Conifer.
Along this stretch of Highway 285, a semi-truck crashed and dumped all of its load of pipe and angle iron onto the road, hitting 5 other vehicles. CSP says the driver of that semi-truck is now facing charges of vehicular homicide and vehicular assault. Colorado State Patrol troopers say Ignacio Cruz Mendoza was driving a semi-truck on Highway 285 south of Conifer Tuesday when he lost control. Court documents say the crash caused steel pipes and beams to fall off the truck and into the road, hitting 5 other cars. CSP says one female driver suffered serious injuries and one male driver died. The Jefferson County coroner identified the man as 64-year-old Scott Miller from Bailey. 9 News Investigates found the semi-driver, Cruz Mendoza, works for Monique Trucking, a California-based company. Court documents revealed 5 inspections of the company in the last 2 years had multiple violations, including drivers operating without commercial licenses. Cruz Mendoza faces charges of vehicular homicide and vehicular assault. CSP arrested the driver hours after the crash and booked him into the Jefferson County Jail. 285 commuters say people in the area know that stretch of highway can be dangerous. There have been hundreds of crashes there over the last decade. CSP troopers believe the semi-speed contributed to the crash. CDOT says in the last year, speeding was one of the leading contributors to Colorado road deaths. They say that Jefferson County is one of the top 5 counties that had speed-related deaths in the last year. In Conifer, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
A man died today after he fell off a ridge at St. Mary's Glacier. The Alpine Rescue Team says he was on the west side above the lake when they think he lost his footing and fell about 300 feet down a slope. Flight for Life was called in, but the man died on site.
Tonight, the Interlochen fire is burning without any containment on U.S. Forest Service land in Lake County. The Forest Service says it's burned 578 acres, so less than a square mile still. It's southwest of Leadville. They say an abandoned campfire started that fire Tuesday afternoon. Once it got loose, it spread fast. We spoke with a couple who saw it just after it started.
To see the flames, what we guess about 100 foot tall at that point.
It was something out of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it was surreal. Just one big burst after another, just covering the hillside, kind of right there with Interlaken right in the foreground. It was absolutely nuts. The craziest thing we've ever witnessed.
Candace and Mikey Nickerson took these pictures of the fire in its infancy. They were camping with their kids across from Twin Lakes at the time. Pretty good view of the fire as it spread, as well as the response.
They did such an incredible job controlling which direction the fire at least went, kind of working with the wind. You could kind of see their plan, the way everybody was moving. Like, it was a well-oiled machine, definitely.
You know, the emphasis from our point of view was definitely to keep the fire from spreading west. So they made several runs with the planes, kind of blanketing with fire retardant, 6 or 7 passes we got to witness that night.
It's quite the exhaustive description. More than 100 people have been fighting to contain that wildfire, some on the ground, others in the air. If you know anything about how the fire might have started, you're asked to call the Lake County Sheriff's Office.
It was another scorcher across the metro today. So hot, everyone's looking for shade and water. DIA officially hit 97 degrees for the 2nd day in a row. Kathy, that's hot.
It is. When you consider the average high this time of year is 82, Jenny, that is record territory to be sure. It will be cooler tomorrow. There's a front working through, and it's brought in enough moisture. We've been tracking isolated severe storms on the eastern plains. 97 in Denver, 94 in Greeley, 106 in Lamar, 103 in Pueblo today, and 101 in Grand Junction. Gusty winds out of the northeast. We've seen some gusts to 25 and 30 miles per hour over Parker and Castle Rock, Castle Pines, down to Monument Hill, and over over some of the higher passes. Air quality a prime concern as well. High levels of ozone mean an air quality and ozone action day will be in effect again tomorrow. And as we're watching the radar, we're seeing moisture kind of rotating into the state. The severe storms have moved east of Colorado. Still some moisture upstream, but right now we're looking at just basically calm conditions in Denver. That is going to be changing tomorrow as that front begins to move in. And so as we get through the overnight time period now, we're kind of in that level 1, slight risk for a thunderstorm that could have a little bit of wind or small hail. Tomorrow will be elevated above the marginal risk, and so there'll be scattered stronger storms. They won't arrive until about 1:30 in the afternoon, but when they get here during the drive time, they could be quite strong. So we're going to talk all about the timing and then look ahead to the holiday weekend forecast coming up.
Thank you, Kathy. Denver Public Schools has found fewer weapons on campus this past school year than previous. In the 21 to 2022 school year, the district says they confiscated 202 weapons, guns, tasers, knives. A year later, 2022 to 23, that number dropped to 186. And this past school year, the district said they found 166 weapons. DPS stopped having staff perform weapon searches last year. This followed a situation where a student shot 2 deans inside East High School during one of those searches. A classmate was shot and killed down the street from campus weeks earlier. Now, only trained campus security officers are allowed to check students, and the district has also brought back armed police working as school resource officers for its high schools. The chief of safety in DPS believes armed SROs are part of the reason they have found fewer weapons.
Not just, standing guard at the front door. They're building relationships and making a positive impact. And working with those students to solve things before they get elevated and escalated.
There could be a measure on the ballot this November to help pay for projects at DPS, including adding metal detectors. The school board is reviewing that proposal. They'll vote on it in August.
RTD riders, frustrated by a mass slowdown, are probably not going to see change anytime soon. There is no timeline on when trains will be back up to speed. The speed reductions, first reported by Colorado Public Radio, have trains going 10 miles per hour in the sections between downtown and the Denver Tech Center. RTD inspections along the Southeast Light Rail revealed rail damage that needs to be repaired. This slow train summer was talked about at this week's Public Utilities Commission hearing. State regulators, they got input from the PUC Deputy Director for Rail Safety.
So do you expect these slowdowns to continue for an extended period of time?
It may take a little bit of time to get all the rail order that they need. We should expect this to be the condition for a while, but no end date in sight at this point.
No end date in sight. Slowdowns are happening in the same spot where a train was sitting there disabled for 4 days back in January between Yale and Southmore. RTD never told the public why. This week, state regulators found out why. The train started to shed wheel and tire components until it experienced catastrophic wheel and tire failure. No one was hurt. As of right now, there's no documentation saying that that incident is related to the damage that was recently discovered on that same part of track.
The nonprofit Revision produces 20,000 pounds of food every year. Still not enough for an area with major need.
9 News reporter Angeline McCall is here to talk about this. Angeline, Revision's going through a pretty significant expansion.
Yeah, a big one, something that they've dreamed about for a long time. Denver's Westwood neighborhood south of Alameda and west of Federal is home to mostly Latino families, about 80%, and roughly 1/3 of the neighborhood lives at or below the poverty line. The area is also considered a food desert for fresh food, which is why this expansion means so much. When the team looks around, it's easy to imagine what this land will become.
It is awe-inspiring because we know that we are going to create such a big impact through the food that's going to be produced here for our communities.
Mariana Del Hierro is the executive director of Revision, based out of Denver's Westwood neighborhood.
We are at our new urban farm called Granja Soberanía, so translated that means sovereignty farm.
With congressionally directed spending, Revision is expanding to this newest 1-acre plot.
Sí, ese es mi sueño realizado.
Farm manager David de Santiago will grow this space into something bigger than he did at their first urban farm, located off of Morrison Road.
Me siento súper feliz. Que esta es como estoy ahorita aquí, como si fuera mi casa. Yo aquí me la paso de sol a sol porque este es un trabajo que lo amo de corazón De donde yo vengo es lo que yo hacía. Yo nací en el campo. Entonces, la oportunidad que se me da trabajar en lo que me gusta y como lo hicimos nosotros, realmente se me paga, lo hago con emoción.
The space will continue feeding the Westwood neighborhood, where 4 times as many families live at or below the poverty line. And in comparison to the rest of the Denver metro, it's also considered a food desert.
Entonces, qué mejor que nosotros aquí producimos la comida para la comunidad y que la comunidad tenga su propia comida de la granja a la mesa.
Being able to access this land doesn't just mean being able to grow more food. For us at Revision, we also try to work at the root causes of food insecurity.
Part of this land will be reserved for Champion Gardens, where neighborhood families can have their own garden if they can't grow one themselves.
Every time we step foot on here, I think we're pinching ourselves because of the possibility that this land holds for our community.
Once a dream, now a vision of what's to come for what was once just a vacant lot.
So this was a big dream that came true, but we are going to continue and create more dreams.
The Southwest Improvement Council are the sellers, and the organization decided to keep the land off of the public market and find a community partner to purchase it. Democratic Senator Bennett and Congresswoman DeGette also helped Revision acquire this property through congressionally directed spending. In the studio, Angela McCall, 9 News.